muscular therapy. If you have autoimmune disease, POTS, chronic illness, etc., this is how I have handled it. Number one, you do 3 buckets. I did this like a poster board, and I literally got a black Sharpie and we just went to town. Mind, emotions, body. The body is going to be the easiest one. In that category, you write down every single ailment, symptom, etc. that you have or experience. So not the diagnosis. Let me just be clear. So for POTS, I wouldn't write POTS. I would say fainting, sudden shaking, difficulty standing for a long period of time, like that. Now, the reason I leave out the diagnoses is because sometimes we think they're a catch-all for the symptoms, but they're not. So I like to list every single symptom out on the body, and this is why you need a poster board. Second, mind. What is the mind doing? Now here I do like ruminations, okay? Rapid thought processes, difficulty focusing, easily distracted, brain fog, etc. Now some of these are going to match with the body category, but this is really like, how are you mentally doing throughout the day? So for me, waves of anxiety, great. That would pair on the body column with rapid heart rate, buzzing sensation in the chest, lightness in my hands and feet, so dissociation. I would also put that in the mind column. So match these 2 things up. The middle column is, for me, the hardest. It's the emotions behind it. Now, what I like to do is I look at the mind and I look at the body, and then I say, all right, well, how do I actually feel during these things? When I am lightheaded, what is the actual feeling that I am experiencing? Lightheaded is fear. When I am laying down after an episode and I'm exhausted, the feeling is depressed or dejected. And you list all of the feelings that you experience on a daily basis. When you are done, I kind of do it like one of those, like those boards you see on TV when people have like the red strings that they connect to. When you are done, you start to quite literally connect the dots. So I go across and I say, or actually I work backwards. I go body, then mind, then emotions. And I say, all right, when my heart rate is super high and when I'm shaking uncontrollably, what is my mind thinking? Is my mind worried that we are going to be in a dangerous situation? Is my mind like running and like spiraling downwards? Okay, what is my emotional like sensation? I'm afraid. Cool. When I have those 3 things in process, the final, and I've done it with like every single one, I just start to match up. And yes, you are going to have things that kind of match up with multiples. When I am done, I take a step back and I look at the big categories. So what are the like general arcs of how my mind, my emotions, and my body are all experiencing this chronic illness wave? The reason I look for the arcs is because within those patterns, that is a way for me to heal. One of the biggest things I saw was with shaking. When I was shaking and my mind started racing and I started to feel incredibly anxious, okay, that's blood sugar regulation for me. Great, that's how I'm gonna handle that one. When I did, my chest is really tight, but it doesn't escalate to tachycardia, my chest is really tight and my mind is completely blank and I feel really dejected, okay, that's anxiety. How do I process anxiety? Should I go to a talk therapist? Should I do somatic therapy? Should I go to PT? All of these things raise the questions of what is the best way for me to heal, because healing requires healing across all 3 of these categories. And at least for me, I dedicated so much time to trying to heal just the body that I negated the entire mental and emotional experience. But if you have autoimmune, if you have chronic illness, if you have dysautonomia, you have to heal all 3 at once. And if you do one at a time, the other 2 parts of you are going to fight it. So if you're trying to take your body out of fight or flight physically, the mind is not going to go and be like, yeah, this feels great. Absolutely not. The mind is going to be like, wait a second. Hold on. We've been in a fear response this whole time. What do you mean you're trying to get us out of it? So when you tackle all 3 at once, you have a thoughtful physical a thoughtful physical routine that allows you to remain regulated and somewhat stable. So I did it by regulating my blood sugar, my blood pressure, hydration, and sleep. And then you introduce a emotional practice that you do weekly, setting a routine that allows your body to know, hey, during this 1 hour of the week, I am going to re-traumatize myself, or I'm going to feel really bad for a few hours afterwards because I went to therapy and we had to talk about really hard stuff. And then you have mental practices that allow you to then process all of this, like meditation, journaling, etc. When you do all three of these cohesively, everything starts to slow down at once and the levels all start to lower in tandem. I didn't do this for the first 2.5, 3 years that I had POTS. I was like a bat out of hell, just running around trying to get answers to anything. And not all of it was a physical problem, not all of it was an emotional problem, and not all of it was a mental problem. But when I looked at this cohesively, when I literally had this massive board and I was like, oh, okay, here's what we're going through, suddenly the answers became clearer because I understood how to introduce different practices that allowed me to tackle the overarching sensations and the repetitive things that I was experiencing. And it didn't feel quite so much like I was just running like a chicken with my head cut off.